Hi there, it's Wendy here, giving you another little podcast in our mum section. I'll also be doing some work on the kids section soon. Today I want to talk about mums and inclusion. So this could be how you should be including your mother more in your life, and maybe you haven't been, or you feel that you're so busy, or it can be that you are a mum and you want inclusion from your children, whether they be, young adults or adults. The inclusion is really, really important. You've got to understand that as a mum, when you first become mum, they are just the centre of your universe, as I've said before. And you're together all the time, like you're a family. And as they grow up and then they leave home, you accept all that and you know it's good. But there can be this change now in inclusion, because you might have had a really close relationship because you just lived together and watched TV and went to walks together and had pizza on Friday nights as a family thing. Now you don't have that. The mother doesn't have that. And I think if you're an older person listening to this and you've got your own family and now you have a mum or mother-in-law, I think you need to really understand this, that they're not being included in the family life as it was before. And it's important that you do that. The way to do it is to start thinking about ways you can include your mum. It might be that you see each other more, you invite her to your place for dinner once a week, you go to the beach and you pick her up and take her with you to the beach. If you're going out one night to the movies, you ring her and ask her, or send a text, ask her if she wants to come to the movie. It doesn't always mean that the mother will come, but just the fact that you're actually including her will make her feel really loved and really cared about. She might not be feeling very well, maybe she's got something else on, but we all like to be looked after. We all like people to ring us up and invite us to things because it makes us feel good, even if we can't do it. So once you write a list of all the ways you could include yourself in your mother's life more, and she can be in your life, you can even talk to your mum about this, or your stepmum, and just say to her, am I giving you enough time? Am I including you enough? Do you want to be included in these things? Like if we're going to my husband's or partner's family and you know them quite well, do you want me to ask you and you be included and we pick you up, or you get there yourself? The inclusion is really important because the inclusion is like an act of love, and you do love your mum, but sometimes when you get busy with your family, it's hard to squeeze it all in. The other way to include them is to do it on major events. Always put the FaceTime on so that they can see the kids having a birthday party. If they couldn't be there, they can see them coming and playing soccer or whatever's happening. Or you can show them the new car that way in a quick talk and go, this is the car, and you include them. Inclusion is a human need. Humans are flock animals. They're not really solitary by nature. They're flock. And therefore, if they don't have much of a flock around them, I think they have to really work hard at that. Of course, there's people who are introverts, but they probably won't be so introverted within a family unit. They'll still maybe want to come. It's the first thing to look at, including your mum in your life more and talking to her about that and making a greater effort. Every opportunity where you're doing a family thing, think about, can I include mum? Can I ask her? Can she come over? Can we pick her up? In my life, when Ray's mother came over, she came over from Africa, she didn't know anyone much. He would pick her up on his way home from work and bring her for dinner. Well, not for dinner, but, to eat dinner. And then we'd take her home. But we try to include her in those kind of ways. It's very, very important. The inclusion is important. The other thing is, now we're going to talk to you as a mum. Are you being included enough? Do you feel like you're being left out? Do you feel invisible now? And if you do, you need to step up and talk to your family and ask them to ask you more, and or kind of ask them if you can come. Sometimes people just don't get it. They're so in their own little self-obsessed kind of world, kids and work and busyness, that they forget that there's other people who don't have that life now. And you might find out that you don't have that life, that your life is all about your family now. And your family could be in another part of the world or in another state. Therefore, you don't have the same access to them. So you don't have them coming on the weekends for barbecue because they don't live in the same state. You need to have a look at these things and try and get more included in things. You can actually be quite bold and speak to them and say that you don't feel you're coming into their life as much as you'd like, is it all right if I, every now and then, try to include myself? The other way to do it is to include them in your world. Ask them to come over, maybe for dinner or for a walk, or meet you at the coffee shop, go to the movies, go shopping. Try and include them back the other way. It's important, if you're a person who looks after their children, that you do that, and it'll be a joyful and tiring thing to do. However, that's not the kind of inclusion that I'm talking about. I'm talking about where you're with your adult child, and you're being included in the activity or spending time with them. And I also suggest that sometimes you just meet your adult kids, either as kids together and or separately, so you get that inclusion, that you just have them all to yourself, they have you all to yourself, and you can talk more openly because it's a more like a family environment. When our kids leave home, we really miss them, and we understand that it's for their greater good. Of course it is. However, you can feel less included in their lives because you literally are. I've had experience where both my sons, out of the three, were living, one in another country in Europe and one in Canberra, and so I didn't have the access. I couldn't access them in the same way. I couldn't just pop over and have a cup of tea or something. I had to find what other ways to include, have more inclusion. Inclusion is very powerful. It also builds the relationship. It strengthens it. It makes it, you have more fun. You create more memories because of the inclusion. And that's another thing to consider, that you're actually creating more memories in your mother and family bank, which is always a good thing. And you can also have new experiences that you might not have had as a mum. If they're doing something you've never done before and you're included, you can go along and have a try at it. It's got many, many positive things. It creates more bonding, and that's what inclusion is. When we include people, they are more connected and more bonded to us. Think about the inclusion. It's a really powerful modality to use to try and include, or however you do it. And think about if you've been including your mum as much as you could, and think about, as a mum, are you being included as much as you need? And also, could you actually include them back into your life so that you get the duality of both doing it? It's great to be a mum, but it's not always an easy thing to be a mum. And sometimes we can get a bit lonely without our kids and miss them. And even though we say we miss them on the phone and we feel that we miss them, this is a way to make it less painful, because you're actually connecting more. Because when you have more inclusion, you have more connection physically and emotionally and mentally. And also, I feel like you're creating memories, and that's can be included when you talk, or you've got photos and remember when we went and did this and we went and did that. Creating like a lovely richness in your life, like a tapestry of your life. Think about it, write it down, talk to your kids. If you don't feel that you're getting enough inclusion, talk to them about them. Some relationships you can do that, and they'll go, oh, yeah, sorry, Mum. Others, it's just better to see if you can try and make it work by you including them more and more, and actually inviting yourself to some of the shows. Usually that people just don't think about it, that's all it is. So I'm hoping this one helps you, and it thinks about the inclusion as being a really healthy way. So I'm wishing you a good week and sending you lots of love.